Good morning. I've been walking around this house trying to figure out what I'm going to do today, and I think I'm going to start with this. So this is what's called a dimples in foundation waterproofing membrane or drain board. Works to waterproof the foundation by providing an airspace between the concrete wall and the dirt, basically, so that hey, what's going on, bud? You have something to say about the waterproofing? Well, this is a good spot to explain this since it's all torn off. This is just the supplemental to this Blueskin foundation waterproofing, which I think is the Blueskin WP200. Underneath the Blueskin is some primer. So there's like a green primer or Aquatac primer on the concrete, and then this goes on that. And you can see it's like permanently stuck there. That stuff it hasn't bubbled up at all. It's really good stuff. It's really thick. And you can see I ran the seams vertically because it was just me installing it. And which it doesn't matter when it's below grade. Overlapping won't help you because water can flow up with pressure underground. But this stuff's great. It's got the adhesive on adhesive, so even water's going to have a real hard time going through that way. And then also it's supposed to self-seal around fasteners. So like when this goes in and holds tight, you got a pretty good chance of it being watertight. Also on the concrete itself, before I applied the primer, I went through and I filled every little hole, crack, crevice with cementol, which is just like a super strong cement filler. And then I also cementoled the footing to give it an angle out, so that if all this stuff was to fail, or just so that if water gets down and sits on top of the Blueskin, gravity will just pull it off and down to the footing drain. Because otherwise the footing is just, level, or it could even be sloping in slightly to the wall, and it creates a nice place for water to sit. Concrete nails. Whenever you're piercing Blueskin, you want to do it with nails and not screws, if possible. Details, details, details. And right over there, I had to patch it because I tore it with the backhoe. But luckily, it looks like I'm going to cut almost all of it off. But luckily, I didn't tear the Blueskin behind it, so I was getting a little... Backfilling with the backhoe is tough, man, because you can't get close to anything with the bucket, so... And on this hill, I couldn't get in with the front scoop, so... whining. So the plan for today is I'm going to snap a line all the way down, and there's a point where there's going to be a little drop down and then over to the door. So I just got to figure out exactly where that's going to go so I can mark it out, and I got to sweep off all this junk so that it'll take a line, and then I'll come back with a razor blade and cut it right along the line, and then I'll cap it with the material, and I'll explain more once I'm to that point. So these are the fasteners that hold this dimpled membrane on, and so they go in and they pin it tight. And if you're wondering how it gets a watertight connection, it's got this cone here, and I put on less of these than what they recommended because I was doing the backfilling. I was really gentle and made sure to go real slow and not pull this down, so I was able to use a few less, so I have less holes to patch now. But now you can really see the Blueskin. And you can see also that I caulked all the terminations that were not like factory adhesive on adhesive. This is a special Blueskin caulk. That's the other thing. They had like a really expensive air gun that could shoot right into concrete, but I think it was like over $1,000 just for this gun, and I was able to hand nail it, so I just went with it. And like this was, you can see most of the time I got it on the first try, except every once in a while I had some trouble, but for the most part I got it on the first try. So But it was a pain. It would have been a lot easier to have an air gun to do that. Okay, so I got all of that trimmed off down to right where I want it. And now I just got to cap it. Show the connection from the blue skin that goes over the plywood and how it connects down to this blue skin. That's the basement foundation, waterproofing. And you can see it's come down about a good 4 inches onto this surface. And then I sealed the edge with that Henry 212. It's a clear sealant. And it's been like this for over a year. And you can see that edge is solid and hasn't come up at all. It's looking really good. And also this caulk looks good. It still feels, yeah, you can see it's tacky a little bit and still flexible. Okay, so I'm using this ramset to fire in these pins to hold this cap on. And this is definitely not, this is the way you're supposed to do it, but it's definitely kind of a little bit of a janky system. But anyways, I've been shooting them in with 1.5 inch pins, and every once in a while I'll get one that doesn't take. And so there. So then I just pull it out, and I've got these 2 inchers. And hopefully these 2 inchers go in and hold. Oh yeah, there we go. So that's what I do when I get one that won't hold, and it just frustrates the hell out of you. So that's why it's always good to get the next size up in case the first size doesn't go in. Then those ones go right in. But if I try to put these straight in, they're a little bit long and they stick out too proud. So this is the best size to go, but if this is what I do if it doesn't work. I just spent at least 45 minutes running around searching everywhere. Back home, this house. I looked in the wood shop, but I missed it the first time. But I've been using these green rounds, which are like the medium strength, and because I didn't have any more of the yellow, you know, the higher strength, or this is like the max strength, and the green just isn't working. So, and I had ordered a bunch of yellow and blacks, or I mean yellow and reds, but that was like 6 months ago. So I finally found the box. Oh, I walked right past it. Oh, that's not it. Oh crap. Well, I was just about to give up, and then I remembered I'd installed all these shelves over here, and I should probably check them. There they are, and more pins. I guess I'll get this in after all today.